I'm Sensei Rick from Old Greenwich Karate. You can see I redecorated the dojo to make it look more like a home to coordinate with the rules and regulations. Let's start now with some basic warming up exercises. I'm going to start with side slaps. So, ready, ish, knee, san, shi, go, roku, shishi, hachi, ku. Good. And as you know, I like to disguise most of my warming up exercises. I like them really to be self-defense exercises. So the next group that we'll be doing are some of my favorite for self-defense, but really great for loosening up the shoulders. It's elbow strike to the front. So we start with our hands in chamber, as you know. If you don't have a belt, remember you don't really need, for karate, you don't really need your gi or your belt. You really just need yourself. So you don't have to be wearing anything fancy. Just be here, be yourself. So instead of chambering on your belt, if you don't have your belt with you, you can of course use your hips. And we'll do elbow strikes to the front. Elbow strike is a really great self-defense exercise. What happens is you want to take your forearm, put it right against your bicep so it's tight, and you're coming straight up the middle, aiming for the target's chin. So let's try that. Ready? Ish. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shishi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Great, that looked good. So, next thing, as long as we're doing the elbow strike, let's add the hammer fist to that. What happens is when you strike with the elbow, the person's chin goes back, the target's chin goes back, giving you a perfect opportunity for the hammer fist. Now, hammer fist is pretty easy to do. All you have to do is start with your hands flat, roll them up tight, put your thumb on top like a hat. And the hammer fist, actually, the striking area is right here. So you'll be putting your hands up by your ear and striking in. Now, to make this effective, you really want to snap it. You can hear the snap from the gi. That means you're doing it correctly. So what you're going to be doing is you'll be doing your elbow strike, throwing the person's head back, and then hammer fist. So let's try that together. Ready? Itch. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shishi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Good. Okay, that was pretty good. Next exercise that's really great for self-defense and also for loosening up the shoulders is elbow strike to the rear. So we'll be doing essentially the same thing. You'll be coming forward a little bit, coming straight back with the elbow. You want to make sure you go back as far as you can to make sure you reach the person who's actually probably grabbed you from the back, and you want to get them off, so you want to come straight back with your elbow strike. So let's try that together. Ready? Ish. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shishi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Great, okay. As you know, one of my favorites is called crossbody elbow strike. I really believe your elbow is one of your best friends in combat. It's great for close-in fighting, and it's a great thing to practice, especially crossbody elbow strike, for loosening up the shoulder. So the crossbody elbow strike can be used for many scenarios. If somebody grabs your throat, grabs your shirt, grabs your wrist, any part of your uniform, you can come up, cross over, and come down, and you're striking the target with the very tip of your elbow. So make sure your hand is tight against your bicep to make sure the elbow is nice and tight. So let's try that one. Remember, you come straight up, cross over in front of your face, and come down. Same thing on the other side. Come straight up, cross over, come down. You notice I'm actually using my hips to help with the movement and the power. So it looks like this. And come down hard. Ish. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shishi. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Good. Okay. That's good shoulder exercises, and your shoulders should be nice and loose by now. Just you can roll a little bit back and forth. Give yourself a couple of side slap. Keep everything loose. Good. So let's work on some punches. Now the punch in Isshinryu is different from other styles, in case you're looking at this from a different system of martial art. We do what's called a vertical fist. A lot of schools teach what's called a corkscrew punch, which rotates. We do a vertical punch from chamber, and we keep the fist vertical. And we're actually striking with these two knuckles on top. Now to make the punch effective, of course, you can't just be punching with your arm. That's not going to be powerful enough. You want to actually use your whole body. And we do that by rotating the hips, sliding the hand back and snapping in. So let's try that. Ready? Edge. Height. Knee. Height. San. Height. Shi. Height. Go. Good. So that's the basic punch. You can practice it more and more to make it powerful. Don't forget you want to use your hips to make it even stronger. Always get the power from the hips. This is called the hara, which is the center of your energy, and that's where you get the power from for your punch. So now we're going to try two punches. The same thing as one, but now you'll be doing two. Directing the punch to the sternum, which is a little bit above the solar plexus, a little bony structure that actually protects the heart. And you want to strike that sternum area. So ready, edge, right, knee, san, shi, go. Good. Okay, those look pretty good, very good warming up exercises. Now we're going to try to work on some blocks again to warm up. Now in Isshinryu we have three basic blocks. We have Jodan Uki, which is rising block. We have Chudan Uki, which is the middle block. And we have Gidan Uki, which is the low block. For the warming up, I'll show you slowly how to do it, and then we can practice it together. So Jodan Uki, what happens is you want to slide your hand in front in a fist, and you want to bring your arm straight up until it clears your head, and then it's over your head like an umbrella. Same thing on the other side. Clear your head also all the way up. And with this, in Isshinryu, we do what's called a muscle block. That means we're actually blocking with this muscle. You'll see other styles blocking with the bone, which is fine. But Isshinryu is really made more for battle, more for hand-to-hand combat. So we want to really protect the bone from some type of weapon if it's coming down over the head. And we do that by having the muscle, which is more resilient than a bone, as our blocking surface. So we're blocking up this way instead of this way. And you want to make sure you're sweeping in front, come all the way up. Now you notice we say that's a high block or rising block, which is really good for protecting from the middle of the chest up to the top of the head. So it can protect against a blow from the top and also a blow coming straight in. So you want to make sure you're crossing in front to protect that whole area. If you block like this, of course, you've missed it. If someone's punching straight in, you can't possibly block and protect yourself that way. So you want to make sure you're crossing in front and bring it straight up over your head this way. And I like to do it actually almost like a circle, and we end up there. Okay? So let's try a few of those. Ready? Do it with me. Itch. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Ishi. Ashi. Ku. Chu. Okay, that looks really good. Now the next one is the Jodan Shuta Uki. That means instead of blocking with a muscular part of the arm, we're going to block with what's called the Shuto, or knife hand. In that case, we're blocking actually with this part of the hand right here. And we're bringing the hands in the same direction, but instead of ending up over here, we're actually going to put the Shuto part kind of directly over our head. And that means we're blocking, if someone's punching in, we're actually doing the block with the Shuto. So it looks like this. We'll do it with me. I'll go slowly. Itch. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shishi. Hachi. Ku. You're good. And if you're having trouble seeing from this distance, don't be afraid to come in closer. No, I'm kidding. Don't come closer. You know, social distancing and stuff. I think this is a good, safe distance to practice from. All right. So next, we're going to do what's called a middle block, or Chudan Uki. That's really for blocking this part of the body, kind of from the chin or neck or throat down to this area. This is a little bit complicated to perfect, but it's a great block for protecting the middle part of the body. So with this one, we start with the hand straight out, and you're going to kind of rotate away. And you do a sweeping block this way. So it looks like almost like you're scooping ice cream. Looks like this, ish. Knee. You notice I'm dropping the hand to do the block. Some people talk about blocking from chamber. That's fine. I like blocking actually lower because then I can use a scooping block at the beginning, and I can use that to block actually someone kicking. So I'm protecting more of an area. Plus I do believe a circle is more powerful than a straight line in terms of actual power blocking. So it looks like this again, nice and slow, like you're scooping ice cream. And up here, you want your wrist to be about shoulder level. Keep your elbow in, and you don't want to be way out here with your block. You want to be right about, kind of like a right angle on your elbow. Don't want to be way out here, that's overkill. Right in here, so the person's weapon is on the outside of your body, so you're out of the line of attack. So let's try it again. Ready? Slowly. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shishi. Hachi. Ku. Chu. Great, okay. That's very, very good. Now the next thing we'll be doing is the same block but with open hand. That's called Chudan Shuto Uki. Uki of course means block. And we'll be blocking again with a knife hand. A knife hand block is more advanced. Keep in mind that if you block with your hand open, there's more chance of course hurting your fingers. But of course the Shuto would be more powerful, be more painful block for the attacker because you're blocking with a very sharp part of the hand. So for this one we're doing the same thing, you're dropping down, but now you're going to swing around and end up just about here. And that, again, you're blocking with a knife hand. So the person's punching in, you're blocking into the middle of the arm. Ready? Looks like a pitch. Go slowly. Knee like you're scooping ice cream. San. Shi. Go. Yoku. San. Shi. Go. Perfect. Okay, that looked really, really good. The other thing I like about the Shuta Uki, of course, is after we do the block, you see our hands are open. It'd be great for doing a strike to the face. The last one is called Gidan Uki, or low block. And that one we start high and we swing down. So you start with the hand nice and strong. Again, a nice good fist. Start up high and you're going to swing it down so your elbow's almost straight. Don't go out too far. Just about here is good. Right about to there. And then you've got a really good block. So we'll practice it slowly. It's good to practice slowly. You can always speed it up later after you've done enough reps to get it in your muscle memory. So once again, let's try it. Ready? Ish. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Roku. Shishi. Hachi. Ku. Chu. And I know a lot of you are saying, Sensei, I know this stuff already. I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years. I understand that. I still practice this all the time. Why? Because perfection really is hidden in repetition. You must repeat. Black belt is hidden in repetition. The more you repeat it, the better it'll be. So I know maybe it's boring, doing the same old thing year after year, but the more you do it, the stronger you get. Also, keep in mind, if you're a black belt and you want to go to teaching, you must perfect the technique so that you can teach it properly. So if you do it enough times, you'll get it so perfect that it'll be easy for you to really share that information with your student. If it looks sloppy, they're not going to want to learn it from you, you won't be teaching it properly, and it becomes a big mess. So once again, repetition is important. So try to copy it exactly the way I do it. And if you have a friend, brother, sister, maybe a parent, make sure the groups are small. You really don't need anybody to practice this stuff, you just need yourself. Or maybe a brother or sister, somebody watching to see how it compares to what I'm doing. Okay, so let's do the last one. It's called Gidan Shuta Uki. Same thing, but now your hand will be open and we're blocking this way. So again, I'll go slowly, start up high, swing it down with the knife hand. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Great, okay, that looks good. Now, the thing I like about karate is, it really is, I call exercise with a bonus. Exercise that you can do to keep in really good shape. You can do it at any age, from very young to very old. But you have the added benefit, exercise with benefit, the added benefit of self-defense. So you're not just going to the gym, working out, getting the muscles big. You're also learning how to defend yourself. And it's something you can do forever. You can do this when you're 20 years old, 5 years old, 90 years old. Always honing your skills to perfection. So if you need to use it in battle, you've got it. Probably never have to use it, but knowing you have it does make you feel good. So make sure that you are practicing this all the time, and remember how important it is to do the exercise to keep in shape, keep your muscles limber, but also you're getting the self-defense benefit from this. So of course, this is a great low part. Now for a couple of minutes, I think we'll go over a punch, a properly executed punch, an Isshinryu. Now as I said before, the Isshinryu punch is a bit different than other styles. We do a vertical punch, we come from chamber. Now things you want to think about are, number one, because the punch in Isshinryu is so powerful, the dynamics are so strenuous, you have to make sure that your joints are protected. So we do that by making sure we have proper body dynamics. Number one, of course, we start to make sure our fist is tight. We want a fist of steel, not a marshmallow fist. What that means is you want to have your fist so tight that if you hit something hard, it won't crack or break your fingers. You must compress it. And you do that by practicing, and you can actually test it this way. So number one, make sure your fist is tight and strong. Next, you want to make sure your wrist is flat. That's so when you strike the object, you don't flip it back and actually end up hurting your wrist. So make sure that your wrist is actually flat. We don't want to come out straight out this way. We want to actually come into the middle for our strike, aiming for the sternum. But of course this works well going for the face, sternum, almost anywhere. But we're going to practice to the middle area as target practice. The next thing you want to do is make sure your shoulders are pulled down to protect the shoulder joint. You don't want them up this way, you want to pull them down so the joint, which is a ball and socket joint, is protected by holding it in with the muscle. So when you're doing your punch, make sure your shoulders are pulled down, and that way, with the shock of the actual strike, the shoulder is protected. Next, you want to make sure you don't hyperextend the elbow. A lot of people do that hyperextension. You don't feel it at the beginning, but sooner or later you may get what's called tennis elbow. So you want to make sure you're coming in and stopping, I say like 98%. And that way your elbow is protected. So really keep an eye on that. It's important to protect your elbow or all joints, because a joint injury is pretty much a permanent injury. So you want to make sure that that's protected. So make sure you're, as I said, you want to make sure you're rotating the hips, as I said, coming in. What I do to make sure the punch is actually very linear, very straight, is I slide my arm along the side of my body and I'm coming out. And the last part of the dynamic of the actual arm itself is a snap at the end, like a bullet. The snap gives a lot of extra power. So you're getting power from the hips, you're getting power from the repetition, the strength of your muscle. But you also want the snap from the snap of the punch. It looks like this. That snap gives a lot more power to the punch and also sets up reverberation through the target, and it makes it easier to shatter parts of the body. So you're here, you want to rotate in, and once again keep the shoulders down, rotate the hips. By the way, when I rotate the hips, I like to have my hand in chamber, but sometimes I will slide my hand up even a little bit further, back further, so I have more distance, because we have very short distance to travel to generate as much power, as much speed as possible. So the more distance I have, the more energy will be transferred from my fist to the target. So once again, we're here like this, rotate in and snap it. Hey! Hey, good. Okay, you hear me do a ki. So we don't do ki all the time, but I'll explain the ki relative to the actual punch. Ki is called a spirit yell. I've used the ki, my ki, a few times, actually, to make it so I don't have to actually fight somebody, because the ki can be scary for somebody who's trying to bother you or hurt you. Ki can actually be kind of like a very fierce yell. It's called a spirit yell. And the ki actually comes from here. A lot of people do it up here, but you want to get the power from the lower abs. So it's like this. And the ki, of course, will give you more power, just like when somebody pushes something heavy, you know, they go, "Argh!" Ki does the same thing, actually adds to the power of your technique. And the ki will startle the attacker, so they'll probably blink, tighten up, and once they loosen up, that's about the time when your technique will penetrate them. So the ki is important to perfect. Once again, make sure it's from the lower abs. Okay, so that really settles most of the punching. The basic things I want you to take from this is make sure the power comes from the hips. Don't forget to rotate the hips. Make sure your shoulders are held down. Make sure you don't lock the elbow. Don't forget we're doing a vertical fist. We're not rotating as you see on TV or in the movies. And we're actually striking with these knuckles here. And you want to snap. You want to practice this as much as you can. I do as many punches as I can during the day to warm up. You can sometimes do 100 punches, start off slowly, build up speed, and then you have what's called a perfect punch. A couple of other techniques that we use with our hands. We don't have just the fist, the sacred punch. We have many other great techniques. And I love this. I love karate, or pronounced by most people in the arts as karate. Karate means empty hand. Kara means empty, te means hand. I love that. Empty hand. See? I have no weapons. You're safe with me. I'm passive. But that's the joke. That's the ruse. It's like a magician. What we're saying is we have no weapons, but actually, in Isshinryu Karate, or karate, and all other martial arts, we have many, many, many weapons. You just can't see them in your hand. And that's the deception. The enemy thinks they're safe. No weapons. But in reality, you've got so many weapons to choose from. Many weapons in your hand. One finger, 4 fingers, palm heel, shuto, elbow strike. Of course, you got your feet, you got your knees. All these weapons are available to you to use. Okay, so basically we know that karate, even though it's an empty hand art, it actually has many, many weapons. So we'll go over those briefly before we call it quits for today's lesson. The basic one that we've been talking about, of course, is the second punch. It's a really great punch. We can also do the second punch as an uppercut. It starts from the same place, but we come up this way. It's actually a very good weapon because it's extremely hard to block that. If you're fighting somebody and you come up from this angle, it's very hard for them to block. Also, as a power punch, when you come up with the uppercut, we're striking in this area, right below the chin, between the chin and the throat, and it's very soft in there. So if you strike with an uppercut, it can be a devastating blow, which will end the fight quickly. As I've always told my students, you don't want a long, drawn-out fight. Once it goes more than 3 or 4 seconds, you have a problem. It should be really done in 5 seconds if possible. That's like 1 block, 1 strike, it's over, you go home. So the power is important. The uppercut works well for that. And the uppercut comes in like this. You're coming in, rotating around, then you have the uppercut position, and just up in here. Now when I practice my uppercut, I like to actually practice past my target. Why? Because I want my power to be maintained through the target. Now, you know when you play golf, they tell you to follow through, or when you do baseball, they tell you to follow through when you're trying to hit the ball. Well, with this, it's the same thing. If you follow through, then you have more power at point of impact. If you think your target is here, you start slowing down at point of impact. And of course, if you slow down, you don't have the same follow-through power as you normally would have. So again, I'll do it slowly. Practice with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So let's try it with a real technique. Once again, you rotate, come in and snap it up. Ish. See, I come down, actually end up in the middle, so my balance is not thrown off. So I'm here. Ni, san, shi, go. Good. Let's try it slowly. Ish. Ni, san, shi, go. Good. Well, I'm kind of having covered a lot of things I want to cover, but I don't think you guys are going anywhere in the next few days, and I know I'm not. I'll be stuck here. So I'll be doing more tutorials over time, covering some of the things that you'll see on your worksheet that you can actually fill out to get your credit towards your promotion. I thought I could cover it all in a few minutes, but obviously not. So I'll be doing more of these, and then you can log into them, see them all, email them to everybody, and then you can get a feel for the type of training you can do. Don't forget, this is great training for warming up, for keeping limber. Gives you something to do during the day when you're just sitting around maybe watching TV or watching YouTube or whatever you guys like to watch. It gives you a chance to exercise, and you do it all alone. You don't need your uniform, you don't need anything, just yourself. And of course I call it exercise with benefits because you not only get exercise, but you get the benefit of training your body for self-defense. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.